sounded a warning back in 1998 when you testified before, 15 years ago, but when you testified before the House Judiciary Committee. You began by describing how the Russian people were technologically monitored by their government. Here's what you said.
The Russian people learned to live with this invasion. They learned to put up with the insecurities that technology brought. If they had something private to say, they would go for a walk in a public park. If they didn't want a call traced, they would make it from a public phone. They learned to live with this intrusion by adjusting their life to it. They found privacy in public spaces since private spaces had been invaded by a technology. And who could blame them? They lived in a totalitarian regime. The state was unchallengeable. The last 20 years have seen an extraordinary explosion in technologies for invading people's privacy and for a market that feeds on the product of these technologies. We are told that our email can be collected and searched by our company or university. And so op-eds advise us not to put private matters into email. Our credit card records become the source for direct marketers. And rather than object, we simply buy with more cash. We have responded to this increasing invasion as the Soviets responded to theirs. Bovine, we have accepted the reduction in private space. Passive, we have adjusted our life to these new intrusions. Accepting, we have been told that this is the way we have to live in this newly digitized age. Now, I find this quite bizarre. For while this increasing Sovietization of our personal and private life occurs, we live in no Soviet state. While passivity dominates, there is no reason we couldn't do things differently. We accept these invasions and these restrictions on our freedom, though there is no Soviet army to enforce them on us. We accept them, these reductions in the space of our privacy, even though we are the architects of the technologies that give effect to this reduction in privacy. And worse than accept them, sometimes we are told we have no choice but to accept them. Technologies of monitoring and searching erode our privacy, and yet some will argue that the Constitution restricts Congress's power to respond. Technologies make it possible from a half a mile away to peer into one's home and watch what goes on there, or eavesdroppers to listen to the conversations in our bedroom, but we are told that the free speech clause of the First Amendment bars Congress from doing anything in response. Congress, our Constitution is no Politburo. The free speech clause does not render us hostage to the invasions of new technologies. It does not disable you as representatives of the people from responding to these changes through laws that aim to recreate the privacy that technology has removed. Indeed, other values, themselves as essential to our democracy as free speech, should push you to take steps to protect the privacy and dignity that changing technologies may take away.
What was it at that time, 15 years ago, that you saw seducing us toward this kind of torpor?
You know, I was right in the middle of writing the first book, which was about technology and civil liberties. And what I saw in that intersection was the way in which the technology invited us into the internet with this promise of privacy and this promise of access, but that the technology of the internet was going to change. And as it changed, it would surveil us more efficiently, it would control us more effectively, it would destroy lots of the fundamental values that we thought we would guarantee through this technology. And what I was frustrated with is people didn't seem to see the way in which the technology invited us in, and then it was a trap. And haven't developed the political response necessary, even the understanding necessary to resist it and to reinforce the type of liberties and privacy that is